If you actually sit down and run the math on buying a house in a major city right now, you know how it goes. You factor in the down payment, the interest rate, taxes, and insurance. For most people, that math ends the same way. The browser closes. Meanwhile, the average used car in America costs around $28,000. Right now, in multiple towns across Nebraska, that same amount is enough to buy a house outright, twice over. This table shows the structural divide between these two realities. On the left, a standard national purchase requires aggressive financial leverage, often resulting in monthly payments north of $3,000. On the right, rural Nebraska allows for a cash purchase between $45,000 and $85,000. Buying in cash eliminates mortgage stress. You drop the interest rate and the private mortgage insurance. Your monthly carry cost distills down strictly to property taxes and home insurance, keeping your total housing expense under $700 a month. We are not romanticizing this. Paying $50,000 for a house is a strict ecosystem exchange. You trade financial leverage for logistical friction. Solving the housing math depends on matching your specific life stage to a town's surviving physical infrastructure. We can separate these viable towns into three archetypes. First are the institutional anchors, places like Superior, Nelson, and Butte. Several of these towns operate as county seats. That legal designation guarantees a baseline of municipal survival. Courthouses stay open, healthcare clinics see patients, and steady government jobs provide an economic floor. This chart maps home prices against physical amenities. Institutional anchors cluster in the upper right, retaining civic infrastructure, with median prices sitting between $75,000 and $86,000. Demographics point toward older residents. Nelson's median age nears 60, with homeownership over 83%. Retirees own outright, providing stability despite stalled growth. Superior pushes this stability further. With a population near 1,900, it supports a regional hospital, a K-12 school district, and a functioning Main Street. Those tangible daily amenities justify its higher price point. Yet these locations remain deeply rural. They sit along waterways like the Republican and Niobrara rivers, and a regular grocery run often means driving 55 miles or more to regional hubs like Hastings or Grand Island. Buyers looking at institutional anchors will pay a 20 to 30% market premium. That premium buys assurance that you aren't isolated from professional healthcare. The second archetype is the high-vacancy remote zone. Think of towns like Verdon, Ansley, and Guide Rock. In the late 1800s, these towns functioned as crucial service hubs for homesteaders and railroads. When dryland farming grew volatile and agricultural mechanization reduced the need for manual labor, that population growth stopped. Today, that history leaves these towns with populations well under 500 people. They offer massive lot sizes and detached outbuildings, frequently listing for cash prices between $55,000 and $75,000. Bringing our matrix back, we plot these remote zones in the bottom left. They occupy the extreme lowest end of both the pricing scale and physical infrastructure. Living here requires massive logistical planning. In Guide Rock, a 3-bedroom house might run $59 per square foot, but you are committing to a 35 to 60-mile drive for standard retail and groceries. The main danger for incoming buyers is utility access. Unverified rural broadband can instantly ruin a remote worker's relocation plan. In places with high vacancy, you must verify hardline internet options before you sign a deed. These zones offer an unbeatable value per square foot, giving you heavy acreage for the cost of a used truck. But they demand absolute self-reliance and a high tolerance for deep, prolonged quiet. The final tier is the cultural holds, towns like Verdigre, Wymore, and Wolf Hill. These communities survived without massive industry. Instead, they run on fierce generational identities, actively preserving Czech, Welsh, and Native American roots. Despite these active communities, the local real estate presents a market anomaly. These towns carry the absolute lowest price tags on our list, with homes routinely clearing between $45,000 and $50,000. Updating our chart, these towns sit in the bottom right quadrant, pairing rock-bottom prices with high social cohesion. The main infrastructure is social. You're entering an environment where local families have shared a bakery or church for generations, and you will distinctly be an outsider. In Wolf Hill, near the center of the Omaha Indian Reservation, homes average $45,000 and stay on the market for nearly 2 years. Navigating property purchases there means understanding distinct legal and jurisdictional borders. Buying a home in a cultural hold anchors you to a persistent historical narrative. The low cost is an entry point into a community that expects you to value its legacy as much as your own property lines. Making the correct choice requires mapping your income source against a region's strict limitations. This decision tree maps out the necessary alignments. We categorize incoming buyers by their non-negotiable requirements, splitting into remote workers, fixed-income retirees, and cultural seekers. Remote workers prioritize absolute savings and physical space. Assuming you secure verified broadband, you can absorb the isolation of towns like Ansley or Verdon while keeping your remote salary intact. Fixed-income retirees face a different math. Predictable medical access is mandatory. That requirement routes you to pay the slight price premium found in county seats like Superior and Nelson. Buyers seeking community density target the preservation efforts in Wymore and Verdigre. You trade commercial choice for historical depth. Misaligning this framework carries severe consequences. Moving a remote job to a town without internet, or a major medical condition to a town without a clinic, instantly turns a cheap house into a dangerous financial trap. If you follow this rural population math to its absolute logical endpoint, you end up 195 miles from Omaha, in Monowi, Nebraska. Monowi is the only incorporated village in the United States with a confirmed population of exactly 1 person. In the 1930s, roughly 150 people lived here. That population shifted from 150 to exactly 1 over the span of a single human lifetime. Today, 88-year-old Elsie Eiler serves as the sole resident. She acts as the mayor, she runs the local tavern, and she collects taxes from herself just to keep the water running and the 3 lampposts lit. A house in Monowi would theoretically cost the price of a used lawnmower, but there is no real estate market because there is no one left to compete with. Nebraska's small towns offer a legitimate escape hatch from modern housing inflation, but that escape requires trading 21st century convenience for 20th century isolation. Run the math, pick your trade-offs, and choose carefully.